Okay, so listen. Our small, quiet world was turned upside down yesterday. My master seemed weak and ill when he rose in the morning. When he complained of pains in his chest and numbness in his left arm, my mistress tried gently to persuade him not to attend Senate. But he was determined to go and set off in a litter, clutching his vial of sea grape wine. We learned later that at the Senate House he had to be almost carried to his favourite seat. The blow came when he stood to speak. His legs would not hold him, and he fell to the ground, clutching his chest. The senators carried him home on a table top, and here he lies in a darkened room. His pulse is weak. He speaks few words, he drinks little, and eats less. What does that tell us about how poorly he is if his pulse is weak? What does your pulse do? What does it tell you about a person? Outside the silence of his room, my mistress wrings her hands and prays at the shrine by the front door. Wringing her hands, what does that mean? How does it portray what she's feeling at that time? My master's brother is here. He has used his influence to send a letter to Cratinus by the emperor's messenger. It travels at the speed of a galloping horse and will reach him in a day, for he is now stationed not far from Rome. However, even if he hastens back with all possible speed, I fear he will be too late. And what do you think? Is it going to be too late? Will everything be okay? And this is the next day. During the night a physician came to examine my master. The man was Greek like me. He arrived with 4 attendants, but took only my mistress into the bedchamber where my master was lying. When they came out, he was holding my mistress's hand and reassuring her. However, as they passed a torch-bearer, I glimpsed his eyes clearly and could see for their empty, hopeless look that he did not believe his own words. So why was the physician telling the mistress something that he didn't believe was going to be true? An hour later, my master suffered another blow like the one that struck him yesterday. This time he did not recover. Now my master is dead. Oh dear. Day 1 of October. In the middle, in the middle of the misery, and all teachers make mistakes. In the middle of the misery and mourning for my master, I have a reason to be joyful, for the reading of his will has brought a fantastic and wonderful surprise. Have a little look at what a will is if you're not sure. Yesterday, my master's brother fetched the will from a temple nearby where it was stored for safekeeping. He took it into the dining room to break the seals and read the wax panels to the family. After about half an hour, I heard Cratinus, who arrived yesterday, shouting. Then he stormed out of the room in a black mood, followed by everyone else. Can you remember who Cratinus was? He came in very early on in the story. And if he's storming out in a black mood, how do you think he's feeling? My master's brother was the last to come out. He called me over to sit with him. He read to me just as follows, for I borrowed the wax tablets and copied them. For her bravery in saving my baby daughter from certain death in the flames of a house fire, I set free my slave, Iliona, immediately. I also set free her brother Apollo, who shall be brought from my country estate to be reunited with his sister. In addition, I give to Iliona each year the sum of 100 denarii. I am free at last. Day 3 of November. A month has passed since I unrolled my diary and sharpened my quills. My life has changed so much, and yet it seems hardly to have changed at all. Apollo is with me, which makes us both very happy. My mistress sent for him several days after the will was read. He walked all the way to Rome rather than wait for a carriage to fetch him. Why do you think he did that? Why didn't he wait for a carriage? Now he works here in the house, doing any tasks that require strength and skill. For his months on the farm have given him powerful arms and hands that learn quickly. Now that I am free, my mistress treats me better than she did before, and even says please and thank you if she remembers. Cytheris did not speak to me for a fortnight. How long's a fortnight? Thankfully, though, we are friends once more. I am spared some of the tasks I hated most, such as emptying the pots in the morning. But I am still studying and looking after little Lydia. What parts do you think she's talking about? Apollo and I have talked about returning to Greece. We could perhaps save enough from our earnings to pay the fare. However, our parents are at the bottom of the sea, and we have few relatives in Mytilene. Furthermore, if were to again attack our ship on the journey, we might swiftly find ourselves back in Rome. Then our story would start again, just as it began a year ago, with chalk on our feet and wooden signs round our necks. No, for the present we shall stay here, for my mistress's home is now our home, and her family has become our family too. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. If you remember, a little while ago, when Iliona was reunited with her brother Apollo at the farm in the country, we wrote a dialogue between the two of them when she found him in the middle of the night. She snuck out of her room and she found him to have a conversation about how he was really being treated. I wonder if you could create another dialogue between Iliona and Apollo of when they were reunited, because again, it doesn't say a lot about her feelings and emotions when they were reunited at the end after they've both been freed. So I'd love to read your dialogues of them being returned together. Now, in the next video, I'm going to read about Iliona's world, and it goes through different parts of Roman history, the where it was, the empire, the who was who, the army, army's soldiers' equipment, and things like that.